what's going on with James Harden?
Good question, because people in Philadelphia aren't, at least as recently as yesterday, are not entirely sure. Nobody believes that James Harden is happy. Nobody believes that he can kind of put this behind him and be fine playing.
What's this that he's putting behind him?
His dissatisfaction with not getting what he wants and what he believes he was promised, which is a trade. He believes that when he opted into that contract, that the 76ers were going to turn around and trade him. I believe the 76ers have tried and have been motivated to do a deal, but Daryl Morey's position, the GM of the Sixers, has been, look, we've got Joel Embiid. We've got Tyrese Maxey. We've got Tobias Harris in a contract year. We have got a team that on paper should compete for a championship. We are not dealing James Harden for spare parts, and we're not dealing James Harden unless we can get the draft capital in return that we can then package and flip ourselves for another quality player. So it's an impasse right now. We've all heard about the conversations that the Sixers have had with the Clippers. Those are ongoing, and they have happened recently as a couple of days ago. They're not close to a deal. The 76ers want Terrence Mann, the fifth-year guard, who is a really exciting young player with the Clippers, and they want at least one first-round draft pick, probably a pick swap with it. The Clippers have made it pretty clear they don't want to deal Terrence Mann. And look, for the Clippers, they're betting that the Sixers don't have another option out there. Right now, there is no team that is bidding for James Harden, so the Clippers right now don't want to bid against themselves.
Which, everything makes sense. The one thing that doesn't make sense is that Morey would tell him, yeah, we'll trade you. And then he doesn't. And is surprised that James Harden tells the entirety of the Republic of China, I'm not playing anymore there. I mean, like, what else are you expecting if you're saying, yeah, you opt in, I'll trade you. I mean, and then you start, and doing what he needs to do as a general manager, which is your due diligence.
I take a little bit of a different take on this. Like, don't opt in then. Like, James Harden had the opportunity to become a free agent. He chose not to. He chose not to because there was nobody out there that was going to pay him $35.6 million next year. There's nobody going to give him the kind of deal that he had. James Harden was coming off a really good year. Yeah. Not the James Harden Houston years, but he averaged 21 points and he led the NBA in assists. Like, you should be able to go out and get a deal that is to your satisfaction. He couldn't, and that's why he opted in. He kind of wanted his cake, and he wanted to eat it too in this situation. I want the money, and I want you to trade me to the city that I want to go to. He didn't say trade me anywhere. He wanted to go to the Los Angeles Clippers and play there. So I don't really fault Daryl Morey for drawing a line in the sand saying, we're not just, acquiescing to all this.
Nor do I. So did nobody explain to Harden, hey, if you opt in, they might actually keep you? I mean, look, or he just thought, like, this is the association. I'm James Harden. I've done this multiple times before. I've seen what other stars do. He has put on a masterclass in getting out of situations. Right. I mean, he has been, Houston, Brooklyn, and now what he's trying to do in Philadelphia. I think this whole thing in Philadelphia is being handled so clunkily. Like, right? So you've got him, not going to media day, which was effectively a 2-day holdout, showing up to training camp, participating for like a week, and now he's holding out again. I don't know who was advising James Harden on all this, but they are doing a bad job of it. They are not helping his situation by advising him to go in and dip out, because the Sixers, from what I'm told, their resolve is pretty strong in all this. They are not going to be bullied into doing a deal, and they shouldn't be, Rich, because look, what did Damian Lillard in that situation teach us, right? In July, when Damian Lillard wanted to be traded and the pressure on the Portland Trailblazers was enormous, they didn't do it because they believed if they waited, something better would come along. Well, they waited 2.5 months. Something better did come along. A deal with the Milwaukee Bucks that got them more than what they could have gotten from the Miami Heat. Now here you are in a very similar situation where you have a player that wants to be traded to a specific team. The Sixers don't want to do it. If they wait a month, 2 months, who knows what happens during the regular season? What if Miami gets off to a slow start, which is not, again, outside the realm of possibility? That is not really a great team down there in Miami, despite the fact that they went to the finals. What if they get off to a slow start? Would Miami be motivated to say, all right, Kyle Lowry plus 2 first-round picks plus a pick swap, and we'll take James Harden for the year? That's a better deal than what the Sixers are being offered right now. So I think waiting, even though it's going to make it very uncomfortable for a couple of months, is the right move for Philadelphia. But the uncomfortable would be him being there, right? Because isn't the collective bargaining agreement essentially rule out holdouts like this from now on? Like,
Yeah,
what are the
it
current
Look, it always
rules?
has ruled out holdout. I mean, you like the Ben Simmons situation is, ironically happening to Philadelphia is a comparison there. Ben Simmons was fined more than $10 million, lost out, at least temporarily, lost out on more than $10 million. James Harden's going to go through the same thing. I think it's like $390,000 he would lose out on for every preseason game he misses, every regular season game he misses, and those fines will escalate from there. Like James Harden, even though he's been very good at this before, is not in the same situation. He doesn't have multiple years left on his contract to backstop him. He doesn't have the leverage of being one of the top 5 or 10 best players in the game. He's in his mid-30s. He's on the last year of his deal. Really, look, James Harden doesn't need my advice, or maybe he does. But if I was advising James Harden, I would say, look, you're on a great team. That team could be great. You were right there, 3-2 against the Celtics before you cratered in the conference semifinals. Go out there, play your butt off, be an all-star this year, and you hit the open market next summer, you're going to be a 2-year, 3-year, $30 million per year type of player. Those numbers aren't outrageous for a guy like James Harden. That would be the most prudent move for James Harden right now.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.